Right. So, gift aid. So this isn't a gift aid update as such because there hasn't been anything that's leaning towards in way of developments in gift aid. What it is looking forward and sharing with you what might be on to rise up based on my discussions with HM Revenue Customs, part of the Charity Tax Forum and our work with the Charity Tax Group. So what we're going to be looking at, well, we're going to be talking about some tools which HM Revenue Customs are working on at the moment in order to promote charitable giving. Their latest lines of thinking around gift aid declarations. Spoiler alert, that's not good news. HMRC activity in the charity sector. Their views around tax compliance by charities, and lastly a little bit about the Digital Markets Competition and Consumers Act. So starting with these tools, there's a couple of tools which HMRC are developing at the moment. As I said, they're designed to promote charitable giving. The first one is a tool that's intended to enhance people's understanding of the ways in which they can give charity tax efficiently. So what it is a series of questions. People answer these questions, and based on the responses, they get guidance on what might be available to them, whether it's gift aid, payroll giving, wills, etc., with links into HMRC's detailed guidance notes. So if you've used HMRC's employment status checker, it looks very similar to that. And we're told by HMRC this is coming online imminently. The second tool that they're developing is one which will enable people to determine whether a proposed donation qualifies for gift aid. Now, the example that I saw, the draft that I saw, was really a lot of work, and HMRC said that they would involve us in the design of that particular tool. So that's quite an early stage of development. If I'm being completely honest, I wasn't really blown away by either of these tools. But what it does show, and what is positive, is that HMRC is keen to promote charitable giving and the tax benefits that come with that. So to dispel any myths, it might be some kind of tax avoidance tweaks. So what's not quite so good is HMRC's current thinking around gift aid declarations. Now, it seems to us that HMRC are really struggling to match gift aid declarations with specific individuals, with specific taxpayers. And so what they're suggesting is they want additional information on their gift aid claims. For example, donors' full name, perhaps things like their date of birth and national insurance number. I don't think HMRC have stopped to think for 1 minute about the practicalities of that. And us at HMRC's Charity Tax Forum took back quite vociferously on that. Because, I mean, I'm a treasurer of a small local charity, and I know it's difficult enough as it is to get compliant gift aid declarations, and people, yet alone, having to ask for quite personal information from people in Village, which then somehow I've got to hold securely. It fills me with dread. So we've asked HMRC to think again, and it's really linked into this Future of the Gift Aid project, which is all about digitising the gift aid declaration process and bringing it into the 21st century. Now, a few months ago, HMRC trialled a digital process. In principle, it sounded great. So what happened was that people would go into their personal tax account, they'd set up a gift aid declaration in their personal tax account. That would generate a digital gift aid ID reference number or a QR code, which then they'd provide to the charity in the declaration. And as of when they made donations, their donations would feed through and appear on their charity on their personal tax account. It's also absolutely brilliant until they trialled it, and the feedback from donors was overwhelmingly negative, because the process of setting up personal tax accounts, the process of setting up this online declaration was just so time consuming. They said, I'm just not going to bother. As a result of that, the HMRC was saying, well, actually, let's forget the whole thing. It can't be you guys. Let's just shelve it, which is a great shame, because I think the reason it didn't work, and I know a lot of other people share this view, is they were actually trialing the wrong solution. And Charity Tax Group has for some time been championing this idea of a gift aid database, where all donors put their gift aid declarations into one place. It could be accessed by any charity and they can link through to their gift aid declaration as part of their gift aid claim process. And as Giles alluded to earlier, we're meeting with the Charity Tax Group and HMRC next week to try and get some traction again going behind that idea and try to persuade HMRC that actually they were going down the wrong rabbit hole. We do need to get gift aid and gift aid declarations fit for the 21st century. The way they were going about it was probably the wrong way, in our view. HMRC compliance activity in the charity sector. So we've been told by HMRC that activity is back to their normal levels, whether that is post-COVID. To be fair to HMRC, they had a big COVID legacy trying to make sure recover overclaimed coronavirus, job retention scheme claims and all that good stuff. But that's kind of tailed off. So their compliance activity is back to pre-COVID normal levels. More of it, though, is around business risk reviews of charities, which involves looking at their activities, their internal processes and controls and procedures to establish the likelihood of compliance failures within the particular charity. And this is something we're seeing from HMRC and customers, not just in the charity sector, but more broadly. Rather than sort of ticking and bashing tax returns, they're looking at the processes within an organisation, their system and controls and procedures which govern how they pull their tax returns and information together. And in response to that, what we're tending to do more now is almost like an internal audit of charities' tax processes to give those charged with governance assurance as to whether their charities' tax processes are adequate and proportional. In relation to gift aid, these are some of the common errors that HMRC say they come across in relation to gift aid claims. And none of this is particularly rocket science. I mean, it's pretty basic, isn't it? Making sure you've got the right name of the individual on the gift aid declaration. You can evidence receipt of the donation through to credits in your bank account, your bank statement, claiming gift aid for what is in effect a payment for services provided for charities, an opportunity will get you buying something. And people are not donating their own money, so they're donating the proceeds of a coffee morning or a fundraising activity. Again, that's the name. So all of this is hopefully quite obvious. So letting just get the basics right in it, because a lot of people aren't, it seems. And in an effort to improve tax compliance by charities, all the way back in 2023, HMRC issued a consultation on a variety of measures that they thought would help improve compliance within the charity sector, or at least reduce the risk of tax leakage. The outcome of that consultation was announced in October 2024, and the relevant changes are going to be introduced mostly from April 2026. So it's not the most urgent of processes. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but the most important one is this last one here about the charity tax filing obligations. So you might be aware that in order to be regarded as a charity for tax purposes, the charity must be managed by fit and proper persons as a condition of being recognised as a charity for tax purposes. So what HMRC is saying is if a charity starts to fall behind with its tax obligations, whether that's in relation to VAT, PAYE, corporation tax, if it falls behind with its tax compliance obligations, then that is an indicator that actually the charity is not being run by a fit and proper person. Otherwise, they wouldn't be falling behind their tax obligations. So they were then entitled, if they want to say, well, actually, you're not being managed by a fit and proper person, therefore we are withdrawing your charity status for tax purposes. So all of a sudden, you no longer be able to claim gift aid, you no longer get all the corporation tax or tax breaks, you no longer get the VAT breaks and VAT. Now, clearly, that is a pretty nuclear option, and has profound consequences. And HMRC is saying that it will be a sanction of last resort, but the clear message is, for goodness sake, keep up to date with your tax obligations, take them seriously, don't go neglecting them or falling behind. Finally, from me, a quick word on the Digital Markets Competition and Consumer Act. You might think, what on earth has that got to do with gift aid? Well, this Act is going to introduce a 14-day calling off period for certain subscription contracts, which can include annual memberships of a charity or perhaps annual rights of admission to view charity property. So that kind of thing in court within the Digital Markets Consumers Act. And the problem is that within this calling off period, the person that's made the payment for his subscription contract has a right to cancel the contract and request repayment to the amount that they've owed to the charity. In order to qualify for gift aid, a donation has got to be made without a condition for repayment. The Consumers Act has introduced this condition for repayment within 14 days if they want to. So therefore, all of a sudden, what might have qualified previously for gift aid doesn't. So HMRC has confirmed via HM Treasury that their policy is that the Consumers Act should not impact on the ability of charities to claim under gift aid, and HMRC are trying to find a workaround at the moment. You would have thought that'd be quite straightforward, quite easy to find a workaround, but in HMRC's world, it's absolutely not. But the message to anyone who is concerned about the impact of the Consumers Act, or perhaps wasn't concerned, is now you don't need to be, because a workaround solution is on its way. So, quite a lot of stuff going on in the background on gift aid. Has anyone got any questions, something here that gets a lot?
Just kind of really on gift aid. I mean, yes, they're asking for more information, but actually, you decided that your tax return, that your national insurance number, it's all your details there.
Yeah, but on your tax return, you don't put individual donations down, do you? On your tax return, you would just put a single figure for all your donations you made. You don't even put the name of the charity you donated to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay.
You might choose to on some supplement on some cover letter or schedule of those minimum taxes. You might choose to. There's no legal obligation on you to.
Or you'll aggregate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's, as I said, quite a lot going on in the world of gift aid, and as always, there's lots going on in the world of VAT, which enables me to hand over seamlessly. And FX,